Alright guys, this is mainly for the people who missed class. Everybody who was there should have seen how to do this on the board. I'm just going to go over it quickly, and then that way they also have a reference too. So I just drew up a quick little sketch here. We're going to take a look at this like, obviously this is setting up your 1-point perspective. So wherever you took your section, you're going to kind of look that way. So I'm just going to say, like, we took our section here, facing this way. What I'm going to do is basically show a little dot here. So let's say this is our person. We're just going to keep it simple, not try to change too many parameters. So I'm going to take a 45 here, basically point it straight. Okay, so this is going to be our kind of our view range. I already threw dimensions on here, so it's obviously 12 feet wide. The next step, I'm going to figure out where that kind of hits on that wall. And this looks like it's about 8 feet. So from there to where that hits on that wall is 8 feet. So it should be the same over here in a perfect world. So one of the things that I tried to get at in class was everyone seemed to like the back wall method better, so I'm going to use that. So this whole thing is 12 feet. Obviously this back wall is only 8 feet, but I'm going to draw that rectangle as if it were 12 feet. So I don't have a section with this, so I'm just going to write down a couple things that, just so you guys are aware. I'm going to say we have 10-foot ceiling. You always want to keep your viewpoint, so your eye level, keep it at 6 feet. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to draw that box real quick. So we're going to end up with a 10-foot tall box that's 12 feet wide. So throw that over here real quick. So it's 10 feet tall. Okay, so that's our back wall here, right? So now what I'm going to end up doing, tore the paper already. I'm going to keep it, going to basically try to keep it centered on there, even though there's that little jut. So what I'm going to do here is find 6 feet here. And I'm also going to find 6 feet this way. So this is our VP, or vanishing point. Okay. Now, the next thing we do is kind of draw a false line out to here, go out to here. Then we're going to go out 8 feet from this bottom corner here. So, and I'll show you why here in a second. Actually, I'm going to draw kind of our wall lines real quick. So we know all these four corners here. So the walls, we're gonna go into the center here. We're just gonna draw some walls, or the, oh, yeah, hang on. I'll explain this after I get these in. And you can always adjust these later, but it's just easier to have these on just so I can kind of tell you guys. Okay, so think of this as your floor, wall, ceiling. So now I'm going to do, I kind of have that point coming out here. I'm going to measure 8 feet and do 1 foot tick marks. Okay, so basically we want to go through and do our 8 feet on each side, or sorry, yeah, 8 feet on each side, or 45. So I'm trying to keep it easy. I'm just going to draw a light line there too. So I'll get to these in a second here. I'm also going to do kind of the same thing here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no. 1 second. Sorry, I shifted the whole thing. Do that again, but accurately. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to do it also on the bottom and the top. Okay. So now, what we're trying to do is make a grid on this whole thing, so you have references for where you can have things within this. So now what ends up happening is I'm going to draw lines at all of those points. So there's the bottom. I'm just going to do the bottom first so it doesn't get too convoluted. And I may end up only doing one or two sides just because it's essentially the same thing on all of them. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these lines here. These get translated down. So I'm just going to draw from here to here. Okay, so this line here is essentially where right here. So I'm just going to put an A right there, and then put an A right here, just so you kind of associate those together. So now along the bottom here, these lines translate across. I'm going to do, actually I'm going to do this other side here too, just to, so essentially these should line up. Then I'm going to draw this hole right over here. Okay, so I have these two walls here, or two planes here. So now I'm going to show you how to kind of get this wall here. So just to clarify, everything horizontal is going to be horizontal. The only lines that kind of fade into this vanishing point are the ones that are I guess parallel with it, if that makes sense. So like these walls, like if you're looking at it going, towards the vanishing point, those all converge to it. Everything horizontal is that dimension in plane, if that makes sense. So if I look over here, this is 4 foot and 4 foot. So each one of these boxes is, by the way I drew this up, think of this as like 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. You can also go this way too, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So what I'm going to do is essentially that wall here, the corner, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the corner of that wall. So I'm gonna have to draw the ceiling here a little bit just to show where it hits. But if I go here, that. so I'm just going to go over 4 just to. So the main thing you guys are going to want to do here is make sure you draw your full grid and then kind of draw over it. You know, these lines will all be the same, right? And I'm going to throw the marker on them here in a second. But essentially what I'm going to do is this right here, this 4 by 4, 4, 4, should line up right here. Say, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they line up. I can draw that line down, and that is the corner of that wall. Then the back here, you know, you're going to have essentially that. And then this is, you know, that'll be a nice dark line here. Something like that. Corner there, etc. So, kind of an easy way to do it. So what I'm going to do here is now I'm going to take a marker just so it's nice and super clear. So our wall is essentially going to go from here to here. The edge of it's going to be there. I'm just going to leave that open for now. There. There. This wall back here. There. That'll be line there. Are going to be from the vanishing point. Oops, it's this guy. Okay, so this is essentially at one point of kind of this, you know, you have this little box here, and then your vanishing point going back to that center point. And you can move this. So if there's something, you know, if you want to see more of this wall here, you can move this vanishing point over a couple feet, and it'll rotate the whole model like that. If you think of it this way, you know, pull this, these extend out a little further this way. You can kind of see those faces a little more. So it's essentially what that is doing is moving your center point here kind of over. So once you kind of get this point established, what you'll end up doing. Do this real quick. Throw that over. I'll show you how to do a piece of furniture too, because that's a little bit what we're going to get into on Thursday. But if you guys want to get ahead a little bit, you're welcome to. And this really isn't that bad once you have this part set up. It's more entourage and all that good stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to throw those lines on here again real quick just to make them a little more visible. So here's our room. Now, let's say you have like a couch, you know, right here. Okay. What you'll end up doing is kind of the same process here, right? And of course, I didn't quite mark these out. I should have, but I'm just going to draw this in pencil to show you guys. So let's say that couch is 3 feet tall. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now I'm going to take my scale, figure out where it is on this plan. Okay. So looks like we're 2.5 feet from the wall. Yeah, that's really all we need. So 2.5 feet this way. We'll make it, I guess we'll follow. I guess this is not quite to scale. It's 4 feet wide, so it's more of a chair than the couch. And we'll make it 3 feet deep, so that's not really to scale. But anyways, so we'll go 2.5 feet away from the wall. So I'm just going to put a little dot there. So that's the back side. And then we'll say it's 4 feet long. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the other. That's the length right there. Boom, boom. And we'll come out 3 feet. So what I'm going to do is kind of draw a box. We're going to go. This one didn't come all the way. Okay, so now if I go up 3 feet, that's another point here. Then this extend over, meet wherever this guy does. So it looks like it meets right there. So that's the front edge of our box here. I'm going to draw a line back towards that vanishing point, and this one is going to go vertical, just like that. And this should hit that line there. There. So now we have our cube that that couch goes into. Okay. So what I would recommend doing for your furniture is basically drawing cubes for all of your stuff, and then what you'll end up doing is going in and filling this in, right? So if you let's think of a chair this way here. So I'm just going to start drawing that outline. Starting with the side profile. And we're going to kind of try to follow that vanishing point, right? So this will curve down. Something like that. Some feet. So all these lines here, like the front face of this thing, this line, all of your lines going that direction are going to go towards that vanishing point. All the other ones, like this one's going to be a horizontal, this will be a horizontal. I curved this, but you're going to want to fill in, the rest of this thing with horizontal lines or curves or whatever. But yeah, so that is essentially a chair that's sitting in that spot. Granted, I drew it 3 feet deep, so it's actually going to be like, way out to here. It's going to be like a big chair, like that. Not a very big space, but anyways, that's kind of the point there. So if I measured, if I look at this, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's about 5 feet on here. I know you guys can't see that, but you have to trust me, it's 5 feet. So essentially what you're doing is you're setting up a grid here that kind of equates to the grid here. With this jut here, I just continued it back, so think of it as that grid continues like to here, and you're just drawing, your grid that way. So, as I mentioned in class, the big thing is just get your grid done, get your walls in there, and the rest, we'll get into, this is what we're going to be focusing on the rest of it. Once you have this in there, it's not that bad. You have windows. If you have a window in here, it translates the same way. So, hopefully you guys can get all this set for Thursday, and we'll go from there.